How you guys doing? I'm so glad to be back on today. It's been a long time coming since I've had an opportunity to come on to the podcast and do what God has placed in me to do. But today's question is, how does family define you? How does family define you? So today we're talking about family. We're talking about our brothers, our sisters. We're talking about aunties and uncles. We're talking about mommy and daddy. We're talking about family. How does family define you? We're talking about blood. How does the blood, relatives, your family, define who you are? First of all, you think of family and we value our family. I think when we're younger, we tend to not really understand the validity of family and how precious our family is. And as we get older and we start going through some things and we start seeing loved ones that are not with us anymore, we begin to value our family more and more. We begin to realize how precious that person's life is to us. And then as we begin to look at the relationship of our siblings, we begin to realize how it defines us. We begin to look at the upbringing that our parents instilled into us. We begin to see how it defines us, how it defines who we are. So today's question is, how does family define you? The reason why this subject is so imperative to me is because I just had an opportunity to spend 2 nights with my sisters. We do a sister retreat. I have 9 sisters, and we get together every year and we have a sisters retreat. And the sister retreat helps me to understand the value that I have in my heart, truly love and compassion and concerns that I have for my sisters. And that's the concern that God wants us to have for one another. When we get a chance to spend time with each other, no matter of our differences, no matter of our value system, no matter of our morals, we're focused on just showing the love and compassion for each other during that retreat. The retreat is set aside for us to bond with each other, to build a bond. And then that bond is already been built because we're siblings. But then we begin to cultivate it. We begin to nourish it. We begin to see the validity of our relationship with God and our relationship with each others as siblings. And we begin to see how it defines who we are. I can see just the time that we spend with each other, how we really are careful about the things that we say and the things that we do, because we want to value that time that we have. That's our retreat. And our retreat is so important to us. It's very essential that we do the things that are fun. We go to the movies, go shopping, just hanging out in the hotel room, just laughing and talking about good old days and talking about some days that were not so good, but laughing, talking about our parents and some things that we enjoyed about our parents and some things that we had a chance to see how we adjusted to things coming up as children and now as adults. But the sisterhood, the sisters retreat is so amazing to see how it defines us. And every year we make sure that we schedule nothing on that time that we set aside for our sisters retreat. There was a time when, I'm a gospel recording artist, so I'm always traveling and singing. And there was a time when I would say I couldn't come because I had to sing here or I had to sing there. But then it became very important to me that I did not allow anything to be scheduled during that time of our sisters retreat. I began to feel a different way. I began to realize that sister retreat was just imperative to me as a concert. if not even more so, because that was my opportunity to be with my sisters. That was my opportunity to let my hair down. That was my opportunity to laugh, and laughter is good medicine. That was my opportunity to look into the eyes of the people that I grew up with and see the true, genuine love. How does family define me? It helps me to see people that truly, truly stand by me. People that truly love me. People that looks past the faults. Just like God looks past our faults. When he pours into your heart, he allows you to look past somebody else's faults and to see the love and the compassion and the need of that relationship. We as sisters and brothers, we need each other. We need to build each other up. We need to stand firm and be there for each other. We need to be that sounding board. We need to be that person that laughs when I laugh. We laugh together. We also need to be that person that mourns, that weeps. During the sister retreat, we had to leave and go to a funeral of a very, very dear friend of ours who lost her son. We had to go and weep with her. And we went and we spent time and we began to weep together. We prayed together. And then we're going to have to continue to check on her. She's like not our blood sister, but she's a sister to us in Christ. And we had to go and weep with her. So we have to be as sisters and brothers, and we have to come together and we have to weep when others weep. The Bible says for us to mourn when others mourn. And then we have to laugh together. We have to rejoice together. We have to see the validity of a relationship with our as sisters and brothers. No matter if we're blood, but we have to see how those relationships define who we are. We have to be defined in the presence of using the presence of God. When we walk into a room and there's filled with sisters and brothers, they should see the Christ in us. It should define who we are in God. But how does family define you? How does family define me? I can only answer for my own. My family defines me because I know that God has given me sisters and brothers that truly, truly love me, and I truly, truly love them. And even when we have our differences, we try to agree to disagree, and we try to move forward. And we try to do what we can as sisters and brothers for our mother. Our father has gone on to heaven. But our mother, we try to spend time with her. We try to delegate time when we can go and take care of her because she defined who we are today. Our mother was our first teacher. Our father was the first man that we saw that worked hard. I mean, sweat hard. He was an example of a hard-working man. He was an example of a man on this earth that provided for his family. My mother was the first nurse. The first person that we saw that when we were sick and not feeling well, she was on it to make sure we were good. The first nurse. But my siblings are my first best friends. They are my best friends. Especially when I can honestly say that when we need something, we're all going to come together and help. And to be from a large family, you got a lot of people coming to help. And that's a blessing. So they define who I am. And I think that I define who they are. So today, how does family define you? If you don't spend time with your siblings, you don't spend some time with them, call them today and tell them that you love them. Tell them that you appreciate them. Tell them that you're grateful for their life. You're grateful for God placing them in your path, being a part of your upbringing. If you walk around with anger and hatred towards your sisters and brothers, go to them right now and tell them, beg them for forgiveness, even if it wasn't your fault. Beg for forgiveness because you are defined by that relationship. That relationship defines who you are. And you define that person. If you're angry with that person, but that person still sees that you're smiling, you're still talking to them, and you're still saying, hey, I'm sorry. Or, hey, let's get past this. That's going to help them to see what forgiveness is like. Me and my sisters and brothers, we don't always get along when we were younger. But now as an adult, we're learning to get along because we appreciate each other. We value our relationships. We value life. We truly, genuinely value one another. And that's what defines me, because I begin to value them more. And I can see by the interaction that we have that they value me. And that defines us. We all got together and went to see a movie together. And that movie was amazing. That movie was so amazing. We were all in the movie theater shouting. We were shouting. And we were shouting because we were all excited about the event that was occurring on the movie. It was so inspiring. And everyone in there, not just me and my sisters, but the people that were in the theater, we were all shouting. We were all excited. We were all eager to see the victory. To see the victory that occurred in that movie. It defined us. And today, does family define you? And then family moves beyond just your sisters and your brothers, and your aunties and your uncles and your nieces and your nephew. It goes beyond your parents. Then God connects you with people that you can call family, spiritual family. It defines who you are today. Are you being defined through people that are inspiring, through people that are uplifting? Are you a person that can honestly say that you've made a difference in somebody's life? That they can say, man, you defined me. You helped me to be the person that I am today. I watched you. You never know who's watching you. You never know whose life that you're going to make a major impact. So be careful. I have to be careful. I'm constantly talking to God. God help me. God help me. Even as a teacher, my life defines the people in my classroom. That's a powerful, powerful thing to have to get up every day, Monday through Friday, and walk into a classroom and stand in front of a group of kids and know that what I do will define them. Those kids are not only part of the school district that I work in, but they become my responsibility to make a major difference in their future. I become that teacher. I become that counselor. And some of them even look up to me as a second mother. I define their lives. And then the most amazing thing about when you're working with children, they define you. They define you. They keep you on your toes. They make you realize that you got a responsibility to do. And it starts when you walk into that classroom. And it ends when they walk across the stage. It starts from the time that they lay eyes on you. But it never ends until they walk across the stage. And even then, they're going to always remember you. I have a teacher, her name was Miss Williams. At William B. Travis School, that lady's name was Miss Williams, and I'll never forget her. She defined who I was because she taught me mathematics. And when she taught me mathematics, I immediately began to embrace her teaching. Her teaching techniques began to help me to understand math more. The learning style that she exhibited when she began to go to the board and she worked with me on the board. And then she would have a partner to come to the board and we would work together on that board. And math became something that was so easy for me because of Ms. Williams. I became like a sponge because of Miss Williams. Miss Williams defined who I was